What's up? Welcome back to learning. We have been talking election stuff, but now we are back, sorry if that was loud, to post-World War I. And when I say post-World War I, that should immediately bring into your head the Treaty of Versailles, because that's what we have been talking about prior to the election. So when you think Treaty of Versailles, what you should think about is the debate back and forth between Woodrow Wilson's 14 points, which were pretty even-handed and peace-like, and on the other hand, the ideas of the two leaders of France and Britain, Lloyd George and Francis Clemenceau. Took me a minute, but got it. So remember, the French and British wanted like extreme punishment. It's all the stuff that you guys wrote on the board. I'm looking at the board. It's right here. It misses you. But all the punishment, all the things, punish them hard, right? Then you had on the other side the 14 points, which are like, hey, be nice. And what you ended up with was a nice compromise, which punished them severely. And when I say them, of course, I'm referring to Germany. I think I'm pointing at Germany. Tell me if I am or not. But first thing that they had was to accept all of the blame for the war. You should already have all this that I'm telling you. This. What is going on? I'm back. I don't know what just happened. So we have the blame. Germany has to accept all blame for World War I, even though they were not the ones technically who started it. It was Serbia and Austria-Hungary going at it, but Germany has to accept all of the blame for the war. Secondly, they must pay reparations, right? Meaning that they are to repay France, Britain, Belgium, United States for the damages that they caused in the war. Third, their army is going to be drastically reduced. So when I say drastically reduced, I'm talking like down to 100,000 men total, with the understanding that just the Battle of the Somme had over 1 million casualties. Their entire army has to be 100,000 or less. They had to give up ships, all but 6. They had to give up all but 6 of their dreadnoughts. They had to give up all of their U-boats, every single one of them. They had to give up all of their airplanes. They were not allowed to have any troops within, it was like 50 miles of France, essentially. I don't remember the exact mileage, but close, the whole Rhineland. Just absolutely brutal on what could be done with their military. They're tiny, right? They're not even enough to fight a battle, according to the Treaty of Versailles. And last but not least, from those conditions, was the territory that they lost, right? They lost literally all of their colonies. They lost huge portions of their territory. In fact, let me show you. They lost some big chunks of the actual mainland Germany. You can see, I hope you can see my mouse. I think you can. Right here by Danzig, there's this kind of orangey pink area surrounded by yellow. That was given to Poland. This area down here was given to Poland. On the other side of the Oder River, you had another little chip that was taken away and given to the Czechoslovakian country that has been created out of nothing here. When I say created out of nothing, it was previously part of Austria-Hungary, and now it's Czechoslovakia. The Rhineland over here is exactly what we just mentioned. Once again, that goes to Germany technically, but cannot be occupied by Germany. Like, they can't have troops there. Civilians can live there. They can work there. They're not allowed to put any German troops there. They actually had to give back this area down here. That's that really orangey color. That is called the Alsace-Lorraine. And that was, once again, that was given back to to France. And then this chunk up here was given to Belgium. So, I forgot, Denmark got a slice too. Basically, all of their neighbors got a piece of Germany. So if you're looking at this, even Lithuania, look up there, it was hiding behind my face, but there it is. Even Lithuania got a slice. So if you're looking at this, Germany lost a lot. And the easy way to remember what they lost and what they were forced to deal with is brat, which I know all y'all Americans tried to say is brat, but it's brat, like the delicious sausage from Germany. And it's blame, reparations, army, and territory, right? That's brat. If we had to zoom into the one that might have had one of the more significant effects on Germany, that's going to be reparations. So blame, reparations, that one. Reparations were huge. When I say they were huge, here's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Weimar Germany, which is kind of the fancy name for the German Republic. They were known as the Weimar Republic. In Germany, W's are pronounced as V's. That's why Volkswagen is Volkswagen. They make the Volkswagen Beetle, not Volkswagen. But anyway, so Weimar Germany was the post-Kaiser government of Germany. These are the folks who were actually forced to sign the Treaty of Versailles. The reason I say forced to try and sign the Treaty of Versailles is because their entire country is occupied by France, Britain, and the United States. It's not like they could say, no, we're not going to accept your terms of surrender, right? Because if they say no, Britain, France, and America can just act like they said yes, right? It doesn't matter. They occupy the entire country. In the signing of that, they end up, of course, taking the blame, which we mentioned, but also being forced to pay 6.6 billion pounds in reparation. Now, 6.6 billion pounds might not sound like a lot, but it's a lot. It's 132 billion marks, which pounds are like British currency. We say dollars, they say pounds. Germans say marks, like we say dollars. That's a lot of money. Our ears are about to hurt because the bell's about to ring. So you might want to turn your volume down a bit in preparation for the bells. But if you're like, okay, 132 billion, that's not that much. In American money, that would be approximately, there it is, $491 billion. There's a bell. $491 billion is a lot of dollars. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. Especially when you think about the fact that Germany just lost all of its colonies, a lot of its territory, and they're absolutely wrecked from World War I. They lost an entire generation of young men. They lost, I don't remember the exact number, but we looked at that like consequences of World War I, that the money that they lost, that they spent on the war, right? They had the most expenditures of anybody. So they've lost a ton. And so they're trying to dig out of almost literally the crater of World War I while also owing a debt of 491 billion US dollars to several different countries. So they work out a deal. And the deal is this: they can either pay with cash or they can pay with goods. You know what goods are? You can do the Dora the Explorer thing. What are goods? Correct. Good job. So goods are like manufactured things, like a desk would be a good, right? A hamburger would be a good. Clothing would be goods. Cars would be goods. These things that are manufactured by your economy. So either they can pay it directly with money, or they can pay in equivalent goods. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask me questions in the comments and I'll try and answer them. So year one of payment is set up to be the year 1921. And in 1921, they make their first payment. 2 billion marks out of 132. But 2 billion marks. It's their first payment, right? And then reality hits. And they're trying to rebuild their economy, and they're trying to help people survive in their country, and they're trying to do what they can to get their economy restarted. and they can't pay the next payment. So in 1922, they now have a crisis. What do you do when you can't actually afford payments? Well, let's think about this for a minute. Let's say you had payments on a house. What happens if you don't make your payments? Yeah, you lose the house, right? I'm enjoying this Dora thing. I hope you're actually attempting to answer in my empty space I give you in your own apartment or house or wherever. So you're just sitting there and a parent walks by and you hear, "Your house is repossessed." And they're like, "What?" Anyway, so yeah, you're right. The house would be taken back. If you can't make payments on your car gets taken away, right? So what is the equivalent when your country owes another country money and it can't pay? Well, France just goes, "Heck, I'll take some of your stuff." So they invade the Ruhr Valley. Now, it's right next to the Rhine River that I showed you earlier. I'll show you a map on the next slide. That'll give you a better idea of where it is. But just know that the Ruhr Valley is the industrial center of Germany. So this is the equivalent of if we owed Canada money, I guess. And we couldn't pay it back. So they came and just took Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, probably. And we're just like, all your manufacturing is ours now. And just kept it. And kept everything that it produced. So in order to make up the payment, France is like, well, Belgium joined them, sorry. You can see Belgium over there. France is like, this is it. We'll just take your stuff. Then we're fair. But now let's think about this for a minute, right? They're coming into Germany in a situation where Germany can't pay, and they're taking Germany's iron, Germany's steel, Germany's manufacturing in general, so like the coal, all the things that they could use to produce stuff, right? They're just taking it. Every time they pull some coal out of the ground, France is like, yeet, and just takes it. Well, now we have a problem, right? How is Germany going to get the money to pay France? Well, it would have gotten the money by actually selling the iron, steel, or coal. What makes it even worse is this area is actually the center for all of the German railways. So pretty much anything that's going through Germany has the chance of just being yoinked by France, right? And so now, poor Germany is forced to try and figure out what to do with France taking all their stuff. And it's even crazier because there are German citizens living in that area producing that stuff. Because if you look, this little yellow, I'm sorry, this is so fuzzy, but this yellow area is the Ruhr Valley. This is the Rhine Valley. I said that they couldn't put any troops in, which is obviously part of the reason they couldn't stop France from doing this. And that area is hugely densely populated. So if you're a German and you're living there right now, what are you going to do about this? Are you just going to keep producing, right? Just keep cranking out new materials only to immediately see them go off the end of the assembly line and into a French train and off into the sunset? Or are you going to do something else? Because you're not going to get paid if they're just taking all your stuff. Your company's not going to be able to sell it. And if they can't sell it, they can't pay your salary. So, what you think? What you going to do? I'm guessing you're going to do the same thing they did. They went on strike. They said, heck no. So basically, what they're saying is we're not going to work for nothing. And we're especially not going to work for nothing for the French, because then we're working for nothing twice. Sorry. German coming out. But at this point, you already needed money, and no one's working in the Ruhr, which means their entire industry, gone. It just grinds to a halt. Well, now you have a whole bunch of unemployed people who are angry because the French are taking their stuff. So they start rioting in the Ruhr Valley. And that, of course, causes Germany's economy to go even further in the toilet than it already was. So now what do? How do we solve this problem? We have to pay France, but we also have to pay our workers here in Germany. What are we going to do? Sorry, got some kind of hiccupy thing there. What are we going to do? So the Germans come up with what they think will work. You see, they have this brilliant idea. We can pay in cash. And cash comes from a printing press. And the printing press is run by us. So we can just print the money. So what does Germany do? They literally print money. They print money to pay the workers. And they print more money to pay France. And they print more money to pay Belgium. And they say, look, thousands of dollars, here you go. Millions of dollars, there you go. Everybody's paid. But when you start printing billions of dollars in cash from nowhere, what's going to happen? I'm not going to tell you, because you're going to answer that in the comments on this assignment. Well, not the comments, but the little thing, little box that says answer that should be somewhere. It's around this assignment somewhere. Look for the one that says to answer in it. But you're going to answer the question, what do you think happened? Germany's printing money. Now what? Answer the question tomorrow. We'll talk about it, which means answer the question by tomorrow. See you guys then. If I can figure out how to, there we go. See you guys then.